Hello YouTube, this is Al once again for Kindred Souls of Brooklyn. I'm standing here today on West 8th Street and Surf Avenue. I'm in Coney Island. For those of you who aren't familiar with the area, this is Coney Island. Right behind me is the scenic Cyclone roller coaster, which is celebrating its 90th birthday this year. So I'm going to do a separate video on that one because that's really cool. It's not operating right now. It operates only on the weekends right now. But Coney Island, my topic today is going to be Coney Island being what they used to call the Nickel Empire. Now you have to realize Coney Island was like the Disneyland of its day. This place was crowded. This was the Mecca of the world, basically. Now, the Cyclone was just one of the things that was here. Behind me over here, you have the New York Aquarium, which I'll do a video on that as well. But that's a little bit of the aquarium. And an amazing thing about Coney Island, just to emphasize how popular I'm not going to say it was, but how popular it still is that all of the roads, pretty much, so many roads and trains came to Coney Island. Now behind me, you have the train station. Now behind me, this is the D train, the F train, and I think the N train and the Q. A lot of the subway lines terminated in Coney Island. I mean, they have to terminate in Coney Island because the beach is only one block behind me. And again, I'm going to do a video on that. Coney Island is a fantastic place, and certainly do a lot of videos down here. But I wanted to do this one just as an overview of Coney Island itself, and it being the Nickel Empire. Now, the reason they called it the Nickel Empire was because basically, for common sense wise, everything was a nickel. I actually think the Cyclone was 10 cents because that was such a big deal and still is. But pretty much a Nathan's hot dog, most of the rides, the subway ride to Coney Island, everything was a nickel. Now, pretty much all of these, this became really, really popular back in the late 1800s. So essentially, Nathan's opened up in 1916, and I think the boardwalk opened up the same year. There was the first Ferris wheel opened up down here in 1895. So this was a very, very popular place, especially in the summertime. Now, it's also popular in the winter for a famous thing called the Polar Bears, which is a swim club which goes in the water during the winter time. And they call themselves the Polar Bears because the water is pretty cold, and they go in there with just their bathing suit. So maybe I'll get a video of that somehow in the winter time as well. But just to finish up here in Coney Island and talking about the place itself, a lot of famous things have happened in Coney Island. Now, obviously there's been a lot of movies made down here. Two of the ones that come to mind for me, right behind me, as I said, is the Cyclone. If anybody's ever seen The Wiz with Diana Ross and Nipsey Russell, that movie was filmed, a lot of it, or actually not a lot of it, but the part where they actually meet Nipsey Russell, who plays the Tin Man. He was underneath the Cyclone roller coaster. So that's basically right behind me over here. Another famous movie that was made in Coney Island was The Warriors, which was made in 1979. Another fantastic movie. So Coney Island through the years, kind of goes through ups and downs. And I'd say it's kind of in an up right now because a lot of exciting things have happened. It's having a rejuvenation. We have the up the block again, and that's probably cause for another video. MCU Park, which is where the Mets affiliate plays. It's it's independent baseball, but it's considered like A-ball baseball, where a lot of the Mets will do like their rehab. It's the first level. If you're not familiar with baseball, it's A-ball, then it goes to AA, AAA, and then the major league. So theoretically, when you come up, you pretty much hit each level. Sometimes you'll skip a level, but that's what that's about. That's the A-level baseball right there. So essentially, that's Coney Island. And if you're wondering, when Coney Island went into a downturn, it was pretty much in the 50s and 60s. And it wasn't just Coney Island where that happened. It was a lot of places. It was Asbury Park, it was Seaside Heights, it was Atlantic City. And essentially, the reason why it went through a downturn, like all those other places, was because it became fashionable to go on commercial jets. People started going to California more often. They started going to the Grand Canyon. They started, visiting. Because up until then, you really didn't, go to too many places. People couldn't afford it. But airline travel became popular in the 50s and 60s. It was affordable. So a lot of these beachside resorts kind of went into disrepair. But I'm happy to say that it's back again. It's been back again for a while. I really suggest you coming down and visiting this place. This is, like I said, the Disneyland of its day. And there's a beach, there's an aquarium. You got great restaurants down here like Wahlburgers and Applebee's. And of course, the number one our restaurant is, well, to me, is Nathan's, because I love hot dogs. You also have Cargiulo's Italian restaurant, which is a really nice high-end restaurant. So I really suggest you coming down here. It's a quick train ride. Like I said, a lot of trains end up here in Coney Island, so it's not hard to show up here. And I really recommend it. It is really nice to walk along that boardwalk to catch some sun. A lot of culture down here, and you won't be disappointed. So have a great day. Thanks for tuning in. If you haven't already subscribed, please do. This is Al for Kindred Souls of Brooklyn, and I thank you so much for tuning in, and have a nice, cheerful, sunny day. Thank you.